If you want to learn how to make Ghibli style textures in Substance Painter, the latest course from the 3D coloring book was made for you. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to consider getting the course. Now let's get into this week's video.
Hi, my name is Vlad. I'm 3D artist from Russia. I started doing 3D not so long ago, and during this time I gained some experience I would like to share with you. I'm going to briefly show you my method of creating a stylized model and rendering it with Polypainting Zbrush, and how I do post-processing of finished render in Photoshop. This is a very common and well-known method, but I hope you find some useful tips and tricks in this video. For this video I took my 3D stylized model of fisherman's head based on the concept of a very cool artist Serge Zbrush. The pipeline for this model includes such programs as PureRef, 3ds Max, ZBrush and Photoshop. PureRef. I use this program to keep all the pictures that I need in my work right in front of my eyes. It works on top of all the open tabs. I think most of you already know this program, and PureRef is probably the best program for collecting references. It's free, but you can support them by leaving a tip. I use 2ds Max. For blocking you can use any program like Max, Maya, Blender or Zmodeler. Use wherever you like. I use Max since it became my first 3D program and I feel comfortable to work with it. By the way, don't be afraid to change the instrument you are used to. For example, now I am in the process of studying Maya. I usually use Zmodeler, then I create small objects such as bottles, books. Zmodeler seems to be more different tool than other programs, but I advise you to master it. I am sure that it will come in handy, especially if you use ZBrush a lot. ZBrush for detailing and painting. You can probably use Blender for detailing, but I don't know too much about this program to advise you something. So use what is more comfortable for you and what in your opinion can give you a good result. In this video I am showing you a polypainted model in ZBrush, because this model is basically a stylized art, but it can be easily prepared for the game engine. In the end, we will create the final render using passes in ZBrush and then do the last cosmetic treatments for our render picture in Photoshop. I hope I didn't tire you with the long introduction, and let's get started. At this stage, I find the largest shapes on the concept and try to create a readable silhouette. Most of the work here is to arrange the primitives well. Now, very important note. Don't create complex objects in the beginning of the work. Better compose simple ones. The main thing is the expressiveness of the forms. The most important objects in my scene are primitives: capsule, box, cylinder. All of you agree that is very simple objects, but they play the most important role in this composition of your work. Their current location affects the whole work in the future. Of course, you can still move them later, but most likely this is a bad idea. So it's better to put them in the right place right away, because you definitely don't want to waste extra time after that stage. So I put all the main objects in the right places, and after that I start to complicate the work and add medium-sized details. Some of them serve as a base, which I later edit in ZBrush. Some of these objects are more complex than primitives, but not that much, and take as a rule to break all complex objects into simpler ones. In general, this approach is better used on all stages of your work. Any complex task becomes easier if you break it down into several simple ones. Now I will show you how some of the objects were created. I hope you find something useful in this. Octopus. Here the main work is to do splines. If you want to learn how to do these shapes quickly and nicely by using splines, I advise you to visit ZBZR game. It's especially useful for Adobe Illustrator users if you plan to work with different monograms and patterns. Boards for fish. Here I use the combination of shell and turbo smooth modifiers. First, I create the base for the boards. Then I split them and then apply the shell modifier. After that, I apply the turbo smooth modifier with a check mark on the smoothing groups. Then I add another one, but without a check mark. Duplicate objects. In order not to do the same action over and over again with repeating elements, I create them using symmetry or instance. If something doesn't work for me with the parent objects, I edit it and my actions applied on the over objects as well. Placement of objects. This function is useful for positioning some objects on the surface of others. In my case, this was useful for placing the window eye on the fish. But don't forget to edit the pivot before placing object. It should be located at the bottom of the original object. Water. There are different methods for creating a surface of water, and I will show you one of them. Create a plane, condense the mesh using Turbo Smooth. Add a noise modifier, do not forget to click on fractal, and we get pretty legit water surface, which we can modify with various alphas in Zbrush. For example, I used the alpha of the water circles where the water touched some objects. After we created main objects, we can start working in Zbrush. The next step in creating this work was the cutouts. They are easy enough to do. I will show you with an example using primitives. Create two objects. The first one will be our wall. The second one will be cutouts in the window. In my case, the cutout was round, so I use a cylinder. After that, you need to click on the arrow on the first object, and on the second object click on two circles. One of them is gray. The subtool which will cut the hole, and the wall must be under the first object. After that, you need to click render boolean like boolean. You can edit the location of the cutout if necessary. Next, we clean boolean, make boolean mesh. So we got a wall with a cutout window. But the mesh inside the cutouts is too angular, so let's go back to our not yet merged objects and condense their mesh. Next, we use Dynamesh and smooth the corners using Polish Clips Edge in the Deformation tab. This is the method I use to create the cutouts. On my model, you can see such cutouts on windows, lamp, door, or on the tail of a fish. It could have been done manually, but I decided to do it like this. To make a fish-shaped cutouts on the lamp, I first created the fish-shaped object in Max. After we made all the cuts, I start to create the stylized wood. I will show it to you using a specific piece of wood as an example. First, I use a trim dynamic brush in combination with a lazy mouse to make smooth cuts on the tree. Then I use the orb cracks brush to create the cracks. You can download the orb brushes set for free from Gumroad. Don't forget to tip the authors. Then I edit the cutouts using the pinch and standard brushes. You can add more different details using move or clip curve. Be sure to use mask, they are very useful too. Creating different stylized objects is really fun, and you can come up with your own methods. We use the same principle to edit most of the objects in the scene. Once we have finished detailing the objects, I start to add small objects like nails, ropes, fish, all sorts of small details. Now I will show you how to create a chain. First we open the Ring 3D primitive. We pull it out with a mask. Copy while holding Ctrl and rotate. Then click Create Insert Mesh. Then go to Stroke and turn on Curve mode and edit the curve step to make the same distance between the rings of the chain. Our chain is ready. Now we can place it where it needs to be. If necessary, we can edit its thickness with deformation, inflate. Also, you can create your own brushes the same way. Small multiply objects. Let's create some objects, for example a nail head. Here is important thing that you need to remember. Firstly, you must place your object at a certain angle at which it will touch another object, and later you will be able to attach it to the other object just like you need to. After you put your object in the needed position, click Create Insert Mesh. Done. Now just place our heads in the right places. To make it look nicer, you can make some kinda pits under them. We do the same thing with other small objects. If you want to add some variety to the model and make it more interesting to look at, you can change some shapes of objects and bring overly symmetrical elements. Use various deformers in the Gizmo Customize menu. Zbrush Gizmo is a very handy tool. For example, using it you can do various manipulations with copying. Copy the object holding Ctrl and left mouse button. Release Ctrl but without releasing the left mouse button. Drag the object further. Many different manipulations can be performed with this tool. Polypaint. Firstly, to paint the model in ZBrush, you can group objects of the same color or material into folders, especially if you have a sculpt with a lot of details. I did this because it's more practical for me. Next, we set primary colors to the objects. To assign selected color, press Fill Object and don't forget to turn on RGB or mRGB mode if you need to assign both color and material. Just like the other stage, here we go gradually. I will show you using this detail as an example. After putting main colors in the scene, we can add some cool shading to the objects. For example, you can darken or lighten some areas. Next, we paint wood that picked out from the paint. By the way, you can combine the detailing and painting process. For example, before creating cracks in Scratch, you can firstly assign a color to the objects and use different brushes with the RGB mode turned on. This can probably speed up the painting process. After we are done this painting, we go to the render. Change resolution of our document. I change it to square with side 2500 pixels. Zublink. First, we set up a suitable camera angle for us. After that, we go to Document, Zublink Properties and fix the view by clicking, for example, on Cast 1. So now we can continue rotate our model, but by clicking on Cast 1 again, it will return to its previous view. If necessary, we can remove it by clicking on Clear 2. You can save Zublink view in ZBrush file, so it must be pre-saved separately. After we choose our view, we begin to set up the render. Before that, I changed the Box Modifiers settings in the Material tab. This will give a very interesting effect to our materials. The main thing is not to overdo it. Then we set the light for our main angle. Go to the Shadow settings, edit its range, angle, blur. You can experiment with these settings and find the ones that would work for you. Next, we render our main view and save it along with the mask. I also render several different passes with different materials and light angles to use in Photoshop. So we open our passes in Photoshop. First, we can edit our main pass using the camera raw filter. This is a pretty useful editor. There are many different settings that you can save as presets if necessary. There are also many ready-made presets. Add our sidelight path, change blending mode to lighten. We can edit its range by lowering or increasing its transparency. I also rendered my scene using reflected map. For this layer I am using the color dodge blending mode. Add a mask and fill it black. Take a soft brush and using white color add highlights in the necessary places. After that, we merge all our layers to add a black mask. Copy our mask. Click Layer, Layer Mask, Review All. We go into the channel, make the last layer visible, insert our mask here. Go back to the layers and click Apply Layer Mask. By the way, you don't have to merge all the layers. You can add a new layer, fill it with the wanted color and follow the previous steps, but invert the mask by pressing Ctrl+I. Now we can edit the background using a clipping mask. To do this, create a layer and hold Alt. Now we can change the background color, add effects, etc. This is how my main document looks like. There are many different layers. With them I achieved the results I wanted. There are different angles of light here, and you can also edit the color of the light using various settings in the adjustments menu. At the very end I did some cosmetic changes and drew such details as glares, reflections in windows, glow from lamps, etc. I drew them by the hand on my tablet. You don't have to do it at all if you don't need it, but I think these hand-drawn details makes our render more alive and interesting. And here's the result. So this was brief instruction of how I did my stylized 3D work on the fisherman's hat. I really hope that you learned something new and useful from my video. Thank you very much for watching this. I did this for the first time and it feels really nice to share my knowledge with you. Continue to experiment, watch more tutorials, practice and don't ever give up. Bye!